Welcome to Fear Coded, a podcast where we talk about media from the horror genre and take a queer reading of a single book, video game, film, podcast, or TV show to explore just how queer horror can be. And this month, we're continuing to consider the intersection of clowns and horror, all Auguste long. And in this episode, we are discussing the sequel to the low-budget Splatterfest cult film, Terrifier 2, written and directed, doing a lot of work in this sentence, by Damien Leone. I'm David.
I'm Marilee.
And I'm Tyler.
Now, before we rub salt in our wounds, I want to check in with my co-host to see how things are going for them. In a landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer, what is making y'all scared, or what's making you feel prepared?
I'll go first.
Marilee is brave. Does your bravery come from fear or preparation this week, Marilee?
It's kind of both, but if I had to say, I guess I'd land on scared, but maybe prepared. So the problem is that we had a disastrous plumbing situation.
No!
Yeah.
Disastrous.
A disastrous,
Oh, no.
but and like we did the best we could to like figure out what the deal was, but the emergency plumbers were like, it's gonna be 2 days, homie, and they ended up getting here early, which was great. And this is why I'm sort of prepared, is that it did not cost nearly as much as we were worried it would.
Okay, well that's good.
Good.
But here, the scared again part is because this house was built in a way that's not completely standard, so they're not entirely sure what the problem was caused by. They're like, yeah, it shouldn't happen again, and we think that this is maybe what it was, but to double check and make sure that the problem is the roots of this pecan tree has moved the pipe slightly, which is what obstructed things.
Pecans.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is it's a beautiful tree. We like it very much. They are gonna have to come back and like put a camera down and like double check to make sure that's what it is. So again, a visit from a plumber at some point in my future, potentially. And by potentially, I mean it's gonna happen. It's just when it will be in the cards for us to happen. It's been so much the past couple days.
That is a lot, but they're going to send a little snaky camera down there. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, in theory.
Take like some sexy root pics, try to get those up on the internet, make your money back. I think golden solution, Marilee.
Yeah, especially in this economy, we're always looking for high quality root picks.
What are the roots except feet of trees, Tyler?
Precisely.
Yeah, of course. But, it's just been several days of problems.
Yeah. I feel that.
And they're all water related. And water is so scary by itself because it's pernicious. It gets everywhere.
It erodes. It's patient, and it's out to kill you.
Oh my god. Yeah, I saw those Final Destination movies.
Yeah, you get it.
The water is coming.
Not the water.
Just in the first one. Just in the
Not
first one.
The water.
You guys are scared of water now. Wait until the water wars when there is no more water.
I've seen that movie too.
Yeah.
With I actually don't remember his name.
Mad Max
Waterworld.
Fury Road's real good.
I was talking about Waterworld, but okay.
Oh, Kevin Costner.
Oh, Kevin Costner.
Kevin
but
Costner.
Yeah, that's a different water-related problem in that it's too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Too much water and not enough drinking water.
Yeah,
Somebody
water everywhere, not a drop to drink.
I was going to make that joke, but thank you very much.
Beat you to
Well,
it.
we're just all on the same page. We're all on the same page.
Exactly.
And so that leads me to ask then, Tyler, what are you feeling this week? Are you feeling scared or prepared or a little bit of both?
I'm going to maintain that we are all on the same page because I too am scared.
Tell us why.
Magic the Gathering.
It's happening to you. It's happening to you.
It's a collectible trading card game.
I'm a gay nerd in 2025, so of course I'm affected by Magic the Gathering in some way. So what's going on is I've watched so much of it played. I've tried to play some of it myself. And then when I do play it, I get so confused by the rules and what I'm supposed to do next. And there's so many cards, and they all have their own rules. And you're supposed to remember what happens. And you're supposed to go in order of them. And there's a whole order system. And it's just too much for my poor little brain.
Yeah, have you considered learning calculus as a hobby rather than
Well, David, I had to take remedial math both in high school and college, so I never got to take calculus because I graduated before I could get there.
I just think it might be more fun than these rules.
Oh, you may be onto something there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there are many pros and cons to Magic the Gathering. Pro, art is nice, and
Art is nice.
love the dopamine high of opening a packaging. Con, pretty much everything else.
True. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really love like the concept of the game. I really love all of the different art. I love some of the lore. I found out about a card. I don't know, a package or something. God, they're all gonna kill me for this. Phyrexia. Like that's like a thing in Magic the Gathering, and it's basically like Hellraiser, but everyone's like extra stunning and
fun.
horrible.
Oh, less fun.
Yeah.
Here's my question. When did you get started with Magic? This seems new to you. When did you get started with Magic the Gathering?
I first became acquainted with it in college in the year 2013.
Wow,
when people tried to get me to play it, and I was like, is it like math? And they were like, yeah, it's kind of like math. And I said, I'm really bad at math, so I'm not going to play this. And then I didn't touch it again for almost 10 years. And then when I did, I was like, okay, I'm getting it. And it was very much like the Matrix and Morpheus going, he's beginning to believe. But I was starting to understand the rules of Magic. And then I just kept unlocking more advanced things. And then I was like, I'm getting more and more confused. So I think going forward, I'm going to stop doing anything that's like really complicated in this game. And I'm just going to make like a whole bunch of like rats and squirrels, which is a thing that you can do. And then it'll be nice because then I'll be surrounded by animals.
You're a green card player. I get it.
Marilee, it sounds like you have some familiarity with this as well.
Yeah. Have you ever played Magic, David?
Oh, I have.
Oh, that's fun. So my familiarity is that my brother loves Magic, and I always knew that. I've had a lot of friends who played Magic over the years, and then in I think 2017, me and my best friend and her husband and their roommate, we all decided, hey, we have some spare time. Let's go to our local gaming store, Dragon's Lair, and we will join the Magic draft. And they wanted a fourth person so that they could 4 is a good number for Magic stuff.
Commander.
Yeah, but not even just Commander. That way, at the very least, we don't have to, if there aren't any cool other people at the Magic store, for the draft you have to play certain other people. At least you have several people that you know that you can do a game with. And so I went along because I'm very easily led by my friends. If you say, hey, let's do something, I will just say yes. Mm-hmm. And I went and I did that for a year, and it was really very fun. And then ever since, I have kept a sort of eye on Magic stuff. It's just my best friend and her husband have moved away, and Dustin, their roommate, I never really liked very much. So I don't really play Magic in person anymore, which is the heartbreak of my brother, who keeps being like, hey, what about this Magic card? You could build a deck with it. I'm like, I'm never going to do that, homie. I don't play Magic in person anymore. And he keeps not believing me, and he's trying so hard. And God bless you, Rory. He's the one person I know in person who listens to this podcast. So he's going to hear all of this.
The more you bother someone about doing something that you want to do and they don't want to do, the more effective it is. So, yeah, keep doing it, Rory.
I know you're saying that in sarcasm, and yet this podcast exists. And so, who's the real winner, Tyler?
I suppose that's true. Well, David, we are both feeling scared today. How are you feeling?
I come to you prepared. I am one of these things that's not like the other.
This is amazing.
Yes. No, I am prepared because of beverages. I just, I'm having a very, beverage-full day today. And as I was thinking about it and getting ready for today's recording, I just thought, man, I love beverages. And the only thing I don't love about beverages, except that they are liquid, and we did talk about, scary, spooky liquid earlier, is that sometimes you want 5 beverages, but there's just no place to put all of them.
It's true.
Tables should be bigger. This is my advocacy. I always want many beverages at the table. I podcast with 2 or 3 beverages every time we talk. Something hot, something cold, something fruity, something bold, something else that rhymes.
Something borrowed, something blue.
I could go and steal a Gatorade, and then I would have all.
Do it. You know, the classic combination is one for hydration, one for fun, one for caffeination.
Ooh.
So
I've never heard this formula.
I haven't either, but this is fabulous. I love this.
I'm going to start doing it from now on.
And
yeah.
You know, it adds pleasure for me because one of the things that once the veil had been lifted from me and I saw who she truly was, my mother would like yell at people for having too many drinks at dinner. Like she would belittle them into not being able to make a decision or having too many. It gave her a source of joy to be critical and critique people's drinking. And I don't mean like alcohol drinking, although I think alcohol is a type of beverage that you can have at dinner.
That one's for fun.
So now I have lots of beverages in order to just spite, I suppose. Spite is a lot of it, and my preparation comes from all of that all together. Hydration, caffeination, enjoyment, and spite.
I love that. Go get another beverage right now. Let's pause the podcast, get David another drink.
Well, at some point in time, another beverage will unveil itself if I keep putting more in, merrily. But that is for a different podcast and a different time. Because today, we are talking about the 2022 supernatural slasher film, Terrifier 2, written and directed by Damien Leone. It is, as you might guess, the sequel to the 2016 film Terrifier, which introduced the character Art the Clown, and, with a painful 43 additional minutes of runtime from its predecessor, addresses some of the critiques from the first film about poorly written characters.
The story, such as it is, revolves around the breakout character Art the Clown, who performs shocking acts of violence while maintaining silence and acting seemingly without motivation. In Terrifier 2, Art plays against the protagonist Sienna, a seemingly normal teen girl.
The series relies on highly detailed scenes of violence, which Terrifier 2 was noted for advancing. When critics commended the film for capturing the look and feel of slashers from the 1970s and 80s, the relentless, constant, pointless brutality led this to being mixed in its reception. What's everyone's experience with Terrifier and this film, Terrifier 2?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm the blame to this one, and I got the credit for bringing it the miniseries last week, so I must now accept the other side of credit, which is blame. And I think accountability is very important in our world. And so I will take accountability because I think when we said we should do clown horror, I was like, hey, who's that weird clown? And I think you both said Terrifier. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And you're like, no, they're really bad. And I was like, that's okay. We can talk about a bad movie on pod. And here we are. And so I'm responsible for this. And I watched the first one in advance of this as well. I am glad that we are here to talk about this. And I do think that a conversation about clown horror and the sort of modern take that Art the Clown is having on people who are fans of these films is going to be really valuable to us. And I think as a mime, he's going to be kind of fun for us to talk about because we're not going to talk about other mime characters, maybe for a good reason, as we'll discuss. But no, I did not like the first Terrifier. I did see the ways in which people said that this was an improvement on the first one. I suppose they were right on a technical level. And I did not really appreciate the second one either. I have access to and can watch the third one, but I have learned that it is a Christmas movie, so I'm going to wait for the season to be a little bit more appropriate before I put on Terrifier 3.
How festive.
Thank you. The season will be me being gone from this planet. What about both of you? Was this thing that was on either of yours radar when we sort of were thinking clown horror?
I mean, it's hard to be a fan of modern horror and not to be aware of who Art the Clown is. Like, if you've been in a Spirit Halloween in the last 4 years, you've seen this clown.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
so that's actually because the rights to the character are owned by the creator, which is kind of cool. That doesn't really happen ever. But like because that Art has been merchandised to hell and back.
Really? That's fascinating to me. I have seen none
there's
of this.
The cereal in this like the Art Krispies. You can just buy a box of those, not like a cereal as like a decor item. There are Funko Pops with and without the sunglasses from this movie. Like any Art the Clown thing you can imagine, it probably exists.
Interesting.
So it is hard not to be aware of him, and but the thing is, I am not really a fan of like splatter horror. So I knew that art existed, and I've long maintained, if that is not your thing, and you're not already a fan, any curiosity you have about what art is and what the Terrifier movies are can be solved by simply reading the Wikipedia page for the movie. It tells you the whole plot. And then you can just go on your way and never having seen it. And after watching this particular movie, I'm here to confirm that that is 100% true.
Tyler, what about you? Were you as aware of Terrifier as Merrily was? Did you also see merchandising for this?
I have not seen the merchandising, but I am familiar with it, being the case, so I'm not super surprised by Merrily's pronouncement.
I also go to Spirit Halloween more than you do, I think.
That's a fair point. Well, I had heard first about the first movie as being just like a plotless excuse for rampant gore, which I mean, like, in theory is fine, because I do like gore when it's like well done, you know, and the effects in this, like, there are some good things that we can search for in this movie, and that includes the special effects, because they are very, very good. But I don't find gore without substance interesting. Like, I think even the Saw movies have more substance in this.
Yes.
I had absolutely also heard that the second movie had more plot, but it was still mainly an excuse to just depict a fuck ton of gore. So I tried to go in with an open mind, and hoo boy, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Sometimes your preconceived notions are right. Sometimes it's okay to judge a book by its cover.
I will offer there is more plot in the second one. And
which is really saying something about the first one.
Yeah, maybe that should make you think about the first one more than it does the second one.
Yeah. I also, he did fund this movie himself. The creator did. And so there are points of it, especially in the beginning, where you think to yourself, my God, this looks like a student film. And it is, basically. So the effects and stuff that people do like, I think he's also like the guy, if I remember in the credits that it said like effects by him as well. So clearly like that is his real passion, I think, and everything else is an excuse for that.
I agree with that take, Merrily. Yeah, I mean, the budget on 2 is tremendously higher than the budget on 1. There's $250,000.
Yeah, but it was kickstarted.
He's got a buddy who gave him money as well, which is part of the politics of all of this. But yeah, I mean, this is a $250,000 budget film. That is not enough money to make a prestigious film. And so this is like squarely independent. It's the sort of thing that you see at like art houses, or you might see as like a student film. Practical effects can be done on the cheap, and I think that's where Leone blossoms. I think his ability to do a lot with things that you can get at a grocery store, and some ways of lighting and picturing them in frame is genuinely remarkable and should be celebrated. And to Tyler's point earlier, the first film almost acts as a proof of concept of look at all these cool effects I can make. But then to sell it as a feature, you sort of have to create a story around it. And that story, you have to create something around it, some sort of container. And that fell apart in a massive way in the first film. And it appears that Leone, who is very online, took all of that critique and then created Terrifier 2 out of it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Which is honestly a nice segue into our theme discussion. So our first theme is art is not political. So in February 2025, Damien Leone posted a statement about the Terrifier franchise and the, quote, ugly political climate we're living in after members of the cast and crew posted their opinions on social media. Leone wrote, I'm all for freedom of speech and expression. That being said, Terrifier is not, in any way, shape, or form, a political franchise. I did not get into filmmaking to become a politician, or promote any political agendas or ideologies, especially through a killer clown movie. Our cast and crew has, and still consists of, both Republicans and Democrats, and anyone who is welcome to be a part of it, regardless of their political affiliations, as long as they're a decent human being. That goes for our fan base as well. Leone was called out by many horror fans and many media literate fans for the statement, especially since it appeared to have been in conflict with the advocacy that the film stars David Thornton Howard, who plays Art, and Lauren Lavera, who plays Sienna, had made about the queer community. In a now-deleted post, Leone wrote, "There's a difference between making a political film and purposely weaponizing your non-political film or the platform that it's enabled you to have in order to push personal political agendas and alienate people you happily work with." What do you all think? Is art political? Is art political?
I've got to tell you that the whole reason I wanted to cover this was this asshole and this firestorm that happened in February. This was kind of all I cared about. And so I didn't even, this could be the whole episode, is us just talking about these series of tweets that he made and how much Damien Leone sucks. Because truly and honestly, to be like, how dare you use my film to advocate for queer people, to the degree that when he was called out on it in the comments of the original post, he was like, well, who do you think even gives these LGBT people their jobs? Referring to himself as some sort of advocate for employing people. And you know what? Fuck. I don't care. Man does not live to toil, even to make your stupid little art movie. Art is political. The character art is political. David Howard Thornton is amazing, and I hope we do talk about him. And his advocacy is political and rocks. Fucking Lauren Laverna, marry me. She's incredible in this film. Belongs in a better film. Love her advocacy as well. Love what both of them are doing with the platform that they've gotten from the success of these films. And I think any creator who is sort of dogging on the people who helped make your work good because you disagree with them politically, or you're trying to keep your producer friend happy, who is the one who gave you money to get off the ground with your little film, that sucks and you should eat shit.
Agreed.
Well put, David.
Very well put. I almost don't even really have anything to add. I think you kind of nailed it. I think all art is political. I think to sort of vaguely quote Kamala Harris, it exists in the context of everything that came before and the world as we experience it now. If you don't think that your movie is political, that is your political stance.
Yes.
And it's also a bad one. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's ignorant.
It's stupid. It's truly stupid.
And it's more than just stupid, and it is deeply stupid, but it's more than just stupid, because it's cowardly.
Yes.
You are a coward.
Yes.
It's like that very famous joke about how if you allow Nazis into your bar, it's now a Nazi bar.
Yeah.
And that is who you are. You are a coward who refuses to police or not police, because we ACAB, but you, by saying your work isn't political, means that you think that the politics of politeness is more important than human beings' lives.
Right.
And simply, I don't respect you for that, because you're a fucking coward.
Yep.
Genuinely. And I've got to say, I don't think you needed to go to social work school and enjoy a license to practice therapy to make the following analysis happen, but you named the character Art. You literally gave him the name of the work that we are talking about here, and you have him take actions, which means that very literally art is political. The character has politics baked into it. They might not be politics you're willing to address as the filmmaker, as we will discuss later in the themes.
Oh my god.
No one needs therapy more than Damien Leone. I charge $100 an hour, buddy. I'm no longer licensed or bonded, but happy to provide it for you. Pay up front. 8 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We will not make progress in that time, but it'll be a start.
Yeah. It'll be very fun for you, though, I think.
Oh, no. This guy's a sociopath. It would not be fun. I don't use that lightly. The amount of people who have asked questions of this director that are opportunities for him to be a little reflective about his filmmaking that he simply refuses to do is a level of sociopathy. It is just beyond the pale. If 100 people went to you and said, the new glasses that you're wearing, Merrily, just aren't working for you. 100 people did that, you'd start to be like, I don't think these glasses are working for me.
Baby, if one person told me these glasses weren't working for me, I would immediately ditch them.
That's we got to work on that next week, Merrily. We got to work on that next week. that's not right either. But at some point in time, you've got to look at the mores that you're being exposed to and start to question sort of your decisions and your internal process. And with so much of that happened to Leone, as we're about to talk about, it just never gets there.
Well, it's like that Simpsons meme of Principal Skinner going, "Am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong."
Yeah.
I mean, the children are wrong, but Skinner did nothing wrong.
Is that the stance that you want to take on this podcast, David?
The Principal Skinner did nothing wrong? Yes, I love Principal Skinner. He can do no wrong to me merrily.
What if we just turn this episode into like a crossover with our
Lee
Simpsons
Carvalho's.
podcasts and
Yeah, let's
just
get
like
Tommy
we just
and
talk
David,
about Principal?
Yeah, Tommy and Derek on the horn.
I'm shocked you both didn't want to talk about Magic the Gathering further because you knew what was coming.
I genuinely would like to exorcise the demons that have been living in me since I watched this movie. So please, I would like to continue.
Let's move on.
Simply let us move on to our next theme, which is nihilists believe in nothing. Or to quote the nihilists in The Big Lebowski, we believe in nothing, Zabowski.
Perfect. That is exactly what I was going for.
Nothing.
That is exactly what I was going for, Tyler.
Wonderful. All right. So Art the Clown is celebrated for the lack of motive and nihilism inherent to his character. As we cover clowns this month, it is fitting that a clown in the tradition of mime would be more aligned with this type of character, as mime is an art form where the performer must act without, and the audience is sometimes left to put their interpretation into the performance. Mime work can be deeply unsettling and truly hilarious. Consider the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode Hush.
Yeah.
Which is a very good gimmicks episode by the way. I'm
Merrily
not
is on.
saying that because I'm in it, but I am saying it. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, David Thornton Howard has spoken about his background studying all sorts of craft, but some of the performances that he talked about specifically for art were looking at the work of Charlie Chaplin, Rowan Atkinson, and I think most interesting for this conversation, Doug Jones, who plays the lead gentleman in the episode Hush of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I mean, Jones is also in What We Do in the Shadows. He's like fucking fan. Like Doug Jones, come on the podcast.
Oh,
like genuinely, we would love to talk to you.
A 4-episode special where we just talk to Doug Jones
the whole fucking year. Like honestly, he could have my spot at the table. I'm kind of out. Doug Jones does creepy mime work so well, and I will say, even in what we do in the shadows, which is a straight comedy, not a straight comedy, it's not a straight comedy by any measure of the word.
Show me some gay is hot, gay is in.
So very queer, but a very like played for laughs comedy. But he does a very creepy mime routine as his character in this. And it's because Jones knows how to control the humor, scary combination that mime is all about.
Yeah.
Well, I believe Doug Jones was the fish man in The Shape of Water, which
he was,
as we all know, won Best Picture. So
is
yeah, truly like an incredible actor, and I wish
he was also in Pan's Labyrinth as the Faun and several other characters.
I truly wish that he could have maybe like come in and told Leone like, hey, just so you know, your actor that's playing Art is giving it all, and you're giving him nothing.
Truly, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I do think David Thornton Howard is fantastic, and
oh my god, yeah.
Like even people who hate this movie, which I think is the three of us.
Yes.
But like everyone who hates this movie is like, this guy's fucking awesome. Like he is so good. He just sucks that he has to do it in this role and in this movie.
Yeah, I think he totally like he got the brief and he said, okay, bet. And he does a great job. Like I just wish he was in a better movie.
Yeah,
like,
genuinely.
I think a villain acting without a motive it fails more often than it succeeds.
Yeah.
I think Heath Ledger's Joker is like a great example of when it works really, really well. But in this case, I find that even though Howard's performance is really good, I'm just, every time he's on screen, I'm just thinking like, God, this movie fucking sucks. And it's because it's boring. Like we know what's going to happen every time we see fucking Art the Clown on screen or someone's interacting with Art. It's like, okay, well, I guess they're next. Oh, he's gonna get killed and then he'll come back and then he's gonna kill someone and he's gonna come back. It's just boring.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The film is bad, but I think Howard does a good job in bringing the character to life. And there are a few examples that I think we'll come to in Terrifier 2 that are good examples of that and are like really actually good sequences because of his portrayal and because of the energy he's bringing to this. And while there certainly is makeup on, there is a lot of emotive that comes through. And so we do need an actor who can act. And that is where I think David Thornton Howard is bringing it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. The actor behind the villain is an often forgotten about part of like a supernatural slasher series, because like the person who is Jason has been replaced a couple of times, but people always know who the Jason is, and they have lots of opinions on how the physicality is portrayed. Freddy Krueger has one actor who is the Freddy, and then there have been people who have like tried to do their own spin on it. Like I don't know if you know this or not, but after the first Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, they actually tried because it is a mask, they tried to replace it, and they did a few screen tests, and it simply didn't work without that actor. So, like, I do think that this actor, who is doing such a good job at the mime, is inherent to the success of the film for what it is. Would love to see him in a better movie, because he can do it. Yeah. He can do it. It's just the script and everything else that's letting us down. Like and that's a bummer.
Agreed.
What about the mime? What about the mime of it all? We have a mime.
Yeah, and it is Auguste.
Yeah, and this is a mime clown is a traditional form of clowning. I didn't realize it, but like it's a whole school, like it's a whole thing. And his face paint does actually resemble a traditional mime clown.
Yeah. This is a Parisian mime, is what I learned. So this is the French style of mime.
So he's a demon from France. Oh.
Exercise that.
Well, something more horrifying than France is misogyny. So we're going to jump into our third theme of today. Please welcome to the stage misogyny. So while this sequel addressed some of the misogyny from the first film, there continues to be problems associated with how this writer and director thinks about women in his films. While horror movies are meant to shock and push boundaries, nothing about this misogynistic treatment of the film's female characters feels necessary or meaningful in any way. In some horror films, violence against women is employed to make a point about rampant misogyny within the genre, but with Terrifier, there is no payoff or larger message here. It's just about malice.
So,
and I know that you guys both have like really good points that I desperately want to hear because they're so good, but I would like to point out that all three of these themes have been kind of pushing back on this idea of like a nothing, like the nothing, the mime, all of it, the misogyny. It just shows how flimsy this base is, that if any kind of pressure on, it just collapses into this well of hatred and misogyny and all of this other stuff. And if you are saying that it's not political, it's because you don't understand the politics of seeing women as people, perhaps.
Right. And this is where I think Leone's interviews in particular start to like skeeve me out, because he repeatedly gets asked like, oh, is art misogynistic? And the director and creator of this character will be like, oh, no, he has no motive. And so if your natural way of writing creates a character who writes like cunt and bitch on the walls in women's blood after murdering them, that tells me that the character is misogynistic. And if you don't see that there's a motive, that means that you, the creator, are just adding your own shit to it. Subconsciously, perhaps, fine. But that's something that you need to go and deal with. Now, that being said, if Leone had just said like, oh yeah, I wrote a misogynistic character, like I wanted this person to hate women to motivate his actions, I don't know that I would love that, but at least I would say like, wow, you had presence of mind to know that like you were doing this very intentionally. That it's unintentionally speaks more to the heart of the creator than the creation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like watching the movie in particular is difficult, and it's also kind of obvious because like almost every gruesome kill in this movie was of a woman.
Yes.
Like we get two men, but it feels like it's mostly the women. And based off of what we hear about like the murders from the first movie in this one, it sounds like that was also mostly women.
It was.
And it's the scene when Allie is killed is really painful to watch. Not just because it's grotesque, but it also just keeps fucking going.
Yeah.
I think we're going to talk about this later when we actually get to the scene, but like art pour salt all over her after she's been thoroughly wounded. And I kind of think that's funny because it's like the only time in the movie where it seems like Leone is like winking at the audience and being like, yeah, I'm going so over the top. I'm literally pouring salt on the wound. But also, like, it's the only time the movie has any ounce of self-awareness, and everything else is just one lingering shot of misery after another.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly against women.
Yes.
Yeah. There are 3 men, though. You're forgetting the coroner at the beginning.
Oh, I must be thinking of another man, because I was thinking it was the coroner and then the boyfriend.
And the guy at the costume
store
shop.
clerk.
Oh, and the store clerk.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yes.
Not just women. A black man also gets viciously.
yeah.
Who is, of the 3 men, the black man is treated the worst.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry.
I wonder why that is.
There was a great Reddit comment that was like, "Is it only violence against women? Because I don't want to go to that theater to the theater to see just violence against women." And someone responded, "No, a black man gets it too." Oh, well, then give me a ticket, please. Like, I can't wait. Just truly and honestly, I think the problem. And I like that you bring up that there is almost a wink, and I watched the behind the scenes of them filming the bedroom scene, and it is interesting. I like that they did it all practically. They've got this sort of puppet corpse that they've created that they're controlling with rebar underneath the bed. Like, why? Who fucking cares? But like, it was creative use of practical effects. But like the creativity gets lost on me because it's just so hateful. Like I can't enjoy it because it's so malicious to these characters who haven't earned my malice. Like again, if Art's got a mom thing where he like hated his mom, then I can buy all the violence against moms. Like I can buy that. I have bought it in other films.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. There's just truly nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, there's a 4th guy. There was the guy in the laundromat who got stabbed.
Oh, yeah. Well, his death is also off-screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just gets stabbed in the head, so,
Time spent killing and seeing the damage done to male characters also is just vastly dwarfed. So even if the numbers ended up lining up, the amount of time we spend watching their pain, and I honestly would throw the coroner out because that is actually all from the first film. that is just your last time on Terrifier. That was not new information.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Well, here we are. It's time for us to consider the criteria that we ask of every film or every media that we consider here on the podcast. And the first of the 2 criteria is to evaluate whether or not what we enjoyed, what we participated in, was part of the horror genre. So what did you all think watching this? Were you scared? Does it belong as a part of horror?
What did I think of this movie? Boring.
It was boring. It was so boring.
It's not scary at all because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is like probably the greatest sin that you can levy against a horror movie is that it's boring and predictable. Like, it's just, like, by virtue of like what happens and like its aesthetics, it does classify as part of the horror genre, but like, it's just repetitive and rote and stupid and simple and just like it's just an excuse to showcase violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I feel like weird saying that because I feel like I sound like a conservative judge saying that, talking about like Grand Theft Auto in 2003, but like it's true. Like this is just stupid and boring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 3 has a better story than this, and that game is famous for being almost no story.
Oh my god.
I even wouldn't have minded being grossed out, I guess, because that I guess is something that sometimes comes from the genre of like gore horror, gore or whatever it's called. Splatterhouse. This whole sort of subgenre of horror that I'm not super familiar with. Because I don't feel like Saw actually ever did it. I think Saw got like credited as being quote unquote torture porn, but now that I've seen this Saw had none of that. Like this is just truly gore for the effect of, can I capture what this would look like in person on film? And again, as a practical effects reel, that's cool, great, put together your reel. But as a film, I don't get it. And I think the director, who is good at practical effects, isn't good at any of the other things you need to make a film. In particular, and this this comes from the friendship and partnership that we have with Gavin, past guest, host of the Mixed Reviews and the Q Division podcasts. I even asked Gavin, like, what does it mean for a director to be his own editor? And it happens a lot in independent films when you can't afford other folks to come on and help with a project. But essentially you lose the chance for someone else to say, this doesn't really work. We need to think about this going here. We need to think about this different coverage that we've got and put this all together into a cohesive thing. My friendship and partnership with Gavin has helped me understand when something is edited fantastically. I can start to see it. Pitch Perfect 2, one of the best edited films I've ever seen since becoming friends with Gavin. So I can recognize the top 5%, and I've also got a sense for the bottom 20%. And Terrifier 2 is a terribly edited film. It's part of the boredom that we all feel, is that this just needed an editor. It also needed someone who understood music, understood sound cues, understood set design. All those things would have been helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. To me, the scariest, like, is it horror? Absolutely, it has to be, because there's no other genre would take it. But the scariest thing to me is about how starved for content gorehounds, who are people who love, like, murder and practical effects like that, are for content if they like this. Like, blink twice if you need help. There has to be something better than this for you.
Well, don't those people deserve a better version of this movie then, Marilee? Because I think, like, if that's what gets you going, like, fine, whatever, but, like, can it be a better movie?
They deserve a better movie. And, like, we've been, like, horror as a genre has been so focused for a while on, like, the A24s or, like, the Conjurings. I don't think there's been enough blood and guts for gorehounds. Mm-hmm. And so if this is the great new splattery horror thing, somebody's got to make a better movie for them somewhere.
Truly.
Yeah, no, I like, if you think about, like, what's probably, like, the original single best, like, most reach for Splatterfest movie, it's probably the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. And that movie has a much better plot than this, like, by 1,000. And most of that movie, like, the last third of it is mostly just screaming and horrible shocks to the senses. And it's like, if that movie can be so impactful with incredible, like, effects that like, many of them still withstand the test of time, especially because so much of it was, like, real. My God, like, why are you trying to aim for the mediocre? Yeah. Please, for the love of God, try and put in some fucking effort to make something good. Like, this movie's so boring and bad, it's, like, offensive. Like, it's not like it's. I wish it could be, like, even as good as, like, fucking what was that Spider-Man movie with Dakota Johnson?
Oh, Madam Web?
Yeah, I wish this movie was even as, like, half as good as Madam Web. Oh, like, it's just so fucking bad.
Listen, I'll hear no disgrace to Madam Web on this podcast.
Her web connects us all, Tyler.
Her web connects us all. Oh my goodness,
you're right, you guys, you're right.
You know what this film could have used? A little bit of ADR, honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. All right, listen. Whatever, horror, sure, whatever. It is not enough to simply be a horror film or horror piece of media. Here on this podcast, we gotta ask, is it queer?
Yeah, I don't know. This is hard. I love that the two leads of this are staunch queer allies. And so
that is very good.
A level of this film then becomes queer because of their allyship and their very outspoken allyship, especially against transphobia that they were recognizing in the community in February of this year. So I've got to give a little bit of a shade to that. But I think on the page, because the movie's so bad, it's hard to even, like, point to any character and be like, there's a character, because there's, like, two.
Yeah. So, like, I think an argument could be made that Sienna is our queer hero. Because, like, when you think about it, she's a final girl, which is a very queer thing that you could be. She has a septum piercing, which is a very queer piercing to have.
True.
Not only that, but she does have, like, a double lobe, which very fashionable with the gays. She is very into cosplay, or perhaps is, like, really into Halloween. Like, she's gotten all dressed up. She's been ready for months.
That's gay.
And that's our culture.
Right.
And she also has daddy issues. We claim all of that.
Truly. gayest thing you could have is daddy issues.
That is very true too, as well.
Yeah. But like, I really don't think this is intentional coding. I don't think by any means, like, we were supposed to read Sienna at all as queer.
Right.
And I almost hate to give Leone credit for even considering that she could be. And like, I know that it's not on him, but I hate saying nice things about this movie. So I don't know how we feel about that.
Well, no, I do think Sienna works as sort of a model of queer heroism. Maybe here's how we can take it, merrily, is we can sort of apply the allyship of these two leads into the character of Sienna against the sort of supernaturally evil Damien Leone as Art the Clown. And in the end, she's going to chop his head off, and like, queers will win the day. We just have to come back from hell, ? In order to get there. That's where my metaphor fell apart. But I think her queer heroism works.
Yeah, and she never really has interest in a boy at all. So is she like still figuring herself out? Is she on the ace spectrum? Is she like a lesbian? We don't really know. There are many questions and answers that we don't have because, again, I truly think she talks to her female friends, her brother and family, the boyfriend a little bit, and then no other men. So it would be difficult to read her as a straight woman. Though I know that if you have the blinders that is compulsory heterosexuality, there's no way you would see that anyway.
Truly.
Yeah, I totally agree with you both. I think you both nailed it entirely. I was kind of thinking about this when we were just talking about like other directors. I think this movie could work if it were a John Waters-esque, like, I'm just thriving in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think of this movie as like, well, maybe that's okay to like this movie because, well, first of all, you're valid to like this movie if you do. We're just three people.
Yeah,
but
listen, if you like this movie, please email us at fearcodedpod@gmail.com. I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I gotta find someone.
I
gotta find someone who likes this movie. But I don't think this movie can work as something John Waters-esque because I think the director would have to come from a community that is treated as trash.
Yes.
To make something trashy. And I think because Leone is he's white, right?
Yes.
Like, he's a white straight man, who I think is also like Christian and conservative, and I'll get into that when we get to the end of the movie. He can't do it. And so if you are a person of privilege, like, and you come from privilege and you don't have the experiences of minority group or someone that has been hated by society at large, you don't get to make something that's about just gross, nasty shit and then say, I'm such a great film creator and this movie is so great and also it's not political. I think that's bullshit. And I don't think you can do it. And I think that's another reason why I fucking hate this movie. Yeah.
I in a moment of me showing some compassion to Leone, I will say that I watched he is much better to watch an interview of than to read an interview. When you read it, you're like, this is the biggest douchebag ever. But when you watch him, he is a person, which when someone has charisma when they're talking to you, but not on a page, is a sign of sociopathy. But I will say that the interview asked him, like, what do you want to be known for? And he got a little sad and was like, all I'm ever going to be known for is Art the Clown now. And I did have a moment of being like, that kind of sucks, because like, you could do other things. Like, you're allowed to evolve your art and to have, and maybe that was just a moment during an interview, which you surely do like 300 of. But it is a little disappointing to think like, I've peaked. And that is essentially what he said in an interview, is like,
well, I think also more. On top of that, David, it also shows a lack of introspection.
Right. You don't
which
have
is
to have
common
peaked.
To people with sociopathy, right?
Yes,
like, isn't
yes.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to have peaked. You can do another thing. You're only 42. Oh my God, I'm the same age as this man. Like, you can certainly do not pick up a podcast. I've already claimed this space. You find your own space, dude. But like, make tutorials on YouTube about like making practical effects out of pig skin that you get from the butcher. Like, that's at least another thing you can do. There is more to have in this world, but I think you're absolutely right, Tyler. I think that what this all comes down to is, if you want to tell a story about characters who are going through it and you don't have that experience and you don't bring in other creatives who have that experience, you're going to lose it. And so when we evaluate this as queer people, looking at a film to see if there are queer themes, probably why it's not as resonant as we want it to be is that the creator is just limited in what he can put forward to us.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't seem like he's open to other voices.
No.
For reasons maybe that we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it's a real bummer. And I can't stop thinking about what you just said, David, and like the way that he feels like he peaked. And he could give back. I think that we all agree that the effects, the practical effects that he achieved in this are pretty technically stellar. So like if you wanted to like make an art school like on YouTube where he like tried to teach other people how he was able to achieve this kind of stuff, I think that would be like resoundingly successful. But he isn't, it doesn't seem like interested in doing something like that. And that's his own. I've kind of lost the train of thought here, but you know.
I think he should maybe take classes on filmmaking and editing, also screenwriting, script writing, one-on-one. I think maybe he should try watching movies that are not horror. I think he should maybe try watching art films. I think he should try learning how to have empathy for other people.
Yeah. Or, you know what? You made $5 million off this film. Just stop working. Like, just chill.
That too.
Just, like, he's working on, like, the fourth one now. I think that they're confirmed, like, 4 or 5 that he's planning on making. And then you could just go walk off into the sunset and retire to an island. I'm sure that's perfectly fine. And your art money factory of merchandising will continue
there you go.
Forever.
There you go, buddy. Enjoy.
And then you never have to say anything ever again. Wouldn't that be nice for you and us?
Who knows? Well, one day, maybe we'll cover another Terrifier entry. But for now, I'm going to ask a question that I have to remind both of you is rhetorical. So it doesn't really matter what you answer. Are you ready to get into the beat by beat for Terrifier 2?
Well, David. No, I wanted you to cut me off. I thought it would be funny.
No.
You can both say no, but we're going to do it anyway.
Fuck!
This is called manufacturing consent.
Leone be like, oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
I got that. Check. All right, well, the film begins with the events of the previous film's conclusion, where a coroner has been fatally wounded by a resurrected Art the Clown. Art finishes viciously murdering the coroner, then leaves the scene with his plastic bag full of tricks. Art goes to a laundromat, removing his outfit for a wash, and he sees a clown-like pale little girl who waves enthusiastically at Art before bleeding all over the floor and walking over to him. They share a silent play session together before a man wakes up to see a naked Art playing by himself. Art, now fully washed up, leaves the laundromat and the corpse of the man stabbed through the head. Title credits tell us that this is Damien Leone's Terrifier 2.
Tell us or warn us, David.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, tell us or warn us. I hear that now.
Yeah.
I thought you were directing.
Yes,
I thought you were directing me to tell or warn you about something.
No, but your answer yes does work. So
yeah.
Leave it in, David.
Leave it in, David. I will tell you both. There is no. We talked about this a little bit in before our recording, but there was no need for you to watch this film, the first film. There was no need for me to watch the first film, but I did. And there's a clown who killed a bunch of people a year ago, and you really get it from this film. So I guess credit where it's due. Films should be able to stand alone even when they're sequels, and this one does for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Thank you for sacrificing for us, David.
Yeah, thank you for that, David. David is just constantly making sacrifices left and right. We really got to stop making you do that.
Yeah.
So the coroner thing happens.
The coroner thing happens.
I don't know how much we really need to go into that because it's just Art kills a man.
He puts his eye. He puts his eye in his eye socket because Art lost his eye. But then he magically has his eye back later, but it's not the coroner's eye. But it was a moment of Art being, quote, playful. It's not a good moment of Art being playful, so we can just move on. Later Art being playful is good.
Yeah, so moving on from that scene, though, we go to the laundromat and we see this little girl who just, like, she's there, and then David just said that she bleeds all over the floor. she kind of just like explosively menstruates or something. I think it's meant to remind you of that.
It kind of looked like bloody diarrhea to me because there were like very large chunks of something.
Yeah.
Either way, why?
It never comes up again.
It never comes up again. It doesn't mean anything. It is all in Art's head, which I could be interesting if we ever explored that in any way, shape, or form in the rest of the film, but we do not. Again, if it was menstruation, I would have happily used the word menstruation, but like Marilee, I was like, unless this man has never understood the act of menstruation, this is too far for me to even believe it to be monstrous menstruation. It's just not there. It just wasn't. It just was wrong.
It's either way. It's just foul and serves no purpose, and it never comes up again.
Yeah.
I think it's like a neat payoff when we see like the man in the laundromat, and we just kind of keep coming back to his perspective, and then we finally finish off, and there's a big knife in his head. I think that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's different than everything else we see in the film because you don't actually see the act of violence. You only see the results of it. I think it's well designed. I sort of read it as like a broom handle through his head because I think like the movie showed me a broom and then showed me the scene or mop or something with a handle. And it was effective. It looked like it was in his head, which again, if this is your shtick is making things look like how they would look, it's good. And it's static, which I think is also very interesting because a lot of the other kills that we're going to be talking about, you have to watch action while you're in quote unquote enjoying the scene. And this man, we just get to sit with for a second and look at the craft of a practical effect of looking like there's something sticking out of someone's head. And that is smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You know, sorry, to circle back around to Little Girl, it just a thought occurred to me, and I've kind of been ruminating on it for a sec. The little girl, I think in the sequel, is like confirmed to be some sort of demon or whatever, who, I don't, like, but so she is apparently possessing Victoria at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for a conversation that we're gonna have in 20 minutes, but at the end, like, she births Art's head. Is it meant to be like a spiritual afterbirth of bringing him back to life again or some? I'm giving so much more thought than whatever was like happened here.
Truly and honestly, Marilee, I would love to know your mental yoga routine because this film has earned none of the flexibility you are showing.
Thank you.
Truly.
Thank you for saying that I do mental yoga and my mind is flexible because at no part of other me could form that kind of yoga routine.
And 20 minutes? What a wish, Marilee. What a wish that we would be at the end of this conversation in 20 minutes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's really enthusiastic of me. I'm hoping we'd speed right through this motherfucker. Anyway, Tyler, continue.
Yeah, it's just kind of optimism at this point. The scene pivots to a teen girl, Sienna's bedroom, where she is creating an intricate costume by hand, complete with a short sword and an elegant set of angelic wings. Tomorrow is Halloween, and Sienna's brother, Jonathan, is hoping to dress as that weird clown from the Miles County Massacre, which he has been recently obsessed with. That night, Sienna has a nightmare of the Clown Cafe, a seemingly televised children's program where images of Art the Clown adorn the walls and a food truck. In the nightmare, Sienna awakens as one of the clearly adult actors acting like children. Art the Clown is welcomed by all, but Sienna is terrified and paralyzed with fear. He hands presents to everyone, and as Sienna opens hers, she finds a beating, bleeding heart. Art the Clown then pulls out a fucking machine gun and shoots everyone in the studio, then turns a flamethrower to any survivors. Sienna manages to get away, finds a short sword, and deflects Art's flamethrower, waking her from the nightmare to find the wings in her bedroom ablaze.
Oh, wow. Can we just start with it's not a nitpick, I don't know what it is, but Sarah Voight plays Barbara, who is the kid's mother, and I think she's actually fine, but the script and direction she is giving is so terrible that Lauren Lavera, who is literally awesome at acting, is running circles around this mother character, and it's so painful to watch them in scenes together because Lavera is just on a different level.
Yeah, she's on a different level than pretty much everybody else in the film. I think some of her friends in some of her scenes can, like, they kind of match energy a little bit.
Yeah.
But honestly, I I'm going to say this again later, get her in a better movie, gang. She's so good. This, like, she needs to be a movie star fucking stat.
Yeah, she's fantastic. But I think then the problem becomes is that it's not B movie territory, because I'm watching someone with like legitimately good chops, and like Sarah Voigt as Barbara just can't keep up, and so the mom then comes off feeling very inauthentic.
Yeah, the mom is a bit of a problem as a character. I think her last conversation with Sienna is only like the best acting that she has in her in this movie. This first scene where she's working from home on the worst microphone headset you've ever heard in your life, while also making breakfast for her kids and burning the bacon, as a great metaphor. And like genuinely being so bad at her job is there's a lot I'm supposed to swallow right off the bat, and her acting does not help.
Yeah.
Well, she's a single mom who's overwhelmed with her work, recovering from the very complicated relationship with her husband, who we find out more about at the end of the movie, what went on there. They're teenagers, so that's already difficult. Her job is really stressful. So by all means, huge bitch, horrible, hate her. So it's like clearly she must be instantly pulverized into red mush for all of these sins.
Tyler, can I tell you, I was bracing for you to say that she was a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. With
I thought about it.
And
I showed restraint, which the director of this film does not.
I love and treasure you both. Listen, I want everyone to know that I fully actually sacrificed and did for real watch this movie instead of just reading the Wikipedia page that I could have just done. And for my sacrifice, and you know it, because nowhere else will you get the scintillating, incredible commentary, such as, Sienna, girl, I can't believe you went to bed with a full beat of makeup on. I can see that mascara, honey. Please stop making actors wear makeup to sleep.
But sleep she does, and goes into this dream. So let's talk about the dream sequence.
Yeah, unfortunately we do. I think that the dream sequence went on way too long.
Oh my god.
Way too long, mama. Dream sequences in movies over and done pretty quick, unless the whole movie is a dream, in which case it's probably not a very good movie. But like, except for Inception. This sucked though. Like, just like it's too long. It just it plays like that super annoying song the entire time. I had to mute the movie actually because I was getting so fucking sick and tired of that stupid song that they were singing, which also had terrible lyrics. What do you mean the food is funny at the clown cafe? Like, why are you saying the food? Why not make it something else that's creepier? Like, just, it's stupid. But like, and then of course there's also Art pulls out a machine gun and just brutally murders all these people, which like definitely something that would not traumatize the average viewer of this movie, considering that sort of thing never happens in real life.
Yeah. That's, I think when Marilee shared that there is an Art the Clown, and I don't know why that being a costume surprised me so much, but it was this sequence in particular that I was like, oh wow, in America you can dress up like Art the Clown and go to Walmart and buy a like semi-automatic rifle.
Can I get on the ground floor on
amazing.
that? Wow,
what a world that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to tell you, the dream sequence is too long. That I would like to buy stock in your company. The dream sequence is too long because that thing's going to the top. Yeah, that's like straight to the moon. But I don't mind that the dream sequence is a little nonsense. I think sometimes when people do dream sequences, everything is a symbol and it all has to make sense. And sometimes it's okay to just have random things. There are not enough random things for this to work for that. And so, because there's like 6 things for you to look at, because Leone fashions himself a set decorator as well as all the other roles that he's got, now I'm forced to sort of Twin Peaks my way through this and say, what am I to interpret from the nun asking for food for this hungry person? What am I to interpret from this row of people who are all traveling, including the pilot and flight crew? Like, what am I to interpret from all these things? Because you haven't given me enough to be like, oh, it's just weird when things are weird. Or you didn't pick one thing to be weird, like the cheese in the Buffy Restless episode. those are the ways that you can do dreams when there's just nonsense going on. It's one thing that's nonsense. It's a lot of things, so you can't think about it enough, or everything's a fucking symbol. And so this film was telling me a visual story that everything was a symbol and nothing fucking works as a symbol. And I did the legwork on this, gang. I went deep into Reddit forums. I have read every take about Terrifier 2 that has ever been taken in all of the life. I am fucking Liam Neeson this shit. But no interpretation works on symbolism for anything going on here.
And that's a bummer. And that's part of what makes it last so
and
long.
It was just...
Yes.
It's lazy. It's just lazy.
I think lazy is a great way to describe this movie.
Yes, it's a very lazy, boring film. Like, I think the only thing that works is the very end of it, because it just uses foreshadowing with the short sword.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, I like that, because it's just like watching Leone remember a lesson from a screenwriting class that he took in college. That's it, though.
Yeah, like plant a seed in Act 1, and it will grow into a plant by Act 3. Yeah, I love that.
I like Sienna in this sequence. Like, her terror is believable. Her dumb Pippi Longstocking hair and freckles.
So good.
I did kind of love the Pippi Longstocking ponytail.
So good. Because it looks so stupid. I actually liked all the ways that the actors were costumed and designed, who were supposed to be like children, adults pretending to be children on like a Barney show.
Yeah.
That I actually thought was well designed.
Yeah. I wish so much that like it was clear that she had already fallen asleep by the point where the Clown Cafe commercial starts playing, because I think it would have worked better that way if it was like a purely supernatural thing. Because like at the end of the movie, it's again implied that Victoria / the little girl or whatever know about the Clown Cafe situation, and like the way that it shows up again in hell, it seems like it's supposed to be important somehow. So like, is it real? Is it not real? There are many questions with no answers.
Can I also just say it's stupid to have a bunch of adults pretending to be kids, but then there's an actual child in the other room eating the Art the Clown cereal, and he gets killed anyway.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That is, again, is lazy. I would have just cast an adult and made them pretend to be Mikey eating Life cereal.
Yep.
Like, that is... Or have them all be children and mow down a group of children with a machine gun.
Yeah.
If your shock is your thing, then be shocking. Because you're killing a child either way. Like, just go whole hog then. Mow down a whole bunch of kids, and then, wonder why there's violence in our world.
Yeah, get your NC-17 rating, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're not a fucking coward, then just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And like it's later implied, and by implied I mean like we see Sienna looking at her brother and then flash back to the young boy eating the cereal. So like, honestly, if you're gonna go for it, have the brother be that kid.
Sure.
Yeah.
There. That's better.
Yeah. You already have cast this child, just let him fucking do it. It's fine. Unless it's supposed to be real, in which this is a real like commercial set that Art killed a bunch of people and Sienna's like dreamed her way into, in which case make that clear.
Yeah.
Make anything clearer. Please, I'm begging.
It's not
God, I
better.
fucking hate this movie. Marilee,
Yeah.
could you take us to the next scene, please, before I have an aneurysm?
Nothing would bring me more pleasure than getting this over faster. Sienna sees that the short sword was completely unharmed by the real-life actual fire that we kind of breeze past in her bedroom. And we learn that it was left to her as a gift by her father. Somewhere else, Art and the pale little girl are watching a television interview with Victoria, the sole survivor of the Miles County massacre from the last movie. Art kicks the television, breaking it. At school, Jonathan meets two boys who are looking at a dead possum. Later, Jonathan sees Art and the pale little girl playing with the dead possum in the hallway. They throw the possum at him and he runs away. The principal bumps into him and finds the possum on the floor of the hallway. And assumes that Jonathan was the one who fucked up with the possum.
Yeah, that happens off screen though. So I will say that is also a continuity problem. Is later Jonathan is just home because the police brought him home, and you have to do all that legwork. And I'm like, no. This is not a smart enough film to make me do homework in between scenes. There's just figure something else out, film. Figure something else out.
You have no problem showing everything else.
Yeah,
why not show us the bloody hallway? Because we don't really even see that. We just see the dead possum.
I feel bad for giving Marilee this set of things to say, but I hate everything that Marilee just said. Like, these entire sequences are just lead balloon after lead balloon after lead balloon.
Truly a disaster of a movie.
Yeah, for real. Like, I think the Victoria thing is smartly set up here, because it does mean that this movie is taking place at the, a year after the last movie, and it sets us firmly in a place and time in the franchise. So I guess that's one nice thing I could say about Terrifier 2.
I will say, I think the little reveal of Victoria's scarred face and how she's essentially like a skull with an eyeball, I think it works because it's on a fuzzy TV, so it kind of amplifies. And
I think that you saw her last movie, right?
Not just that we saw her last movie, but this entire sequence is actually lifted from the first film, Tyler.
God, are you for real? Oh, God, I hate this movie.
Including kicking the television, though the pale little girl wasn't there. That was new.
I hate this fucking movie. Anyway, I like the idea that we don't find out about the truth of Sienna's and Jonathan's dad until the end, but we get these breadcrumbs to keep us intrigued. There's always just a little bit more revealed each time we hear some more about dad. I think the execution at the end fucking sucks, but I think the little lead up to it is fun.
Yeah.
You're right. That is a good mystery.
I do want to know what's going on here. I did want to know, and then I knew, and I was like, well, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't worth it is, I think, the title of this episode.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say about this possum. I think this is a real reverse engineered situation. I think Leone probably had the notion of trying to make a dead animal and the idea that you could play with viscera of a dead animal, and then worked backwards to include that in the film. Because otherwise, why is Jonathan having these visions? Why do the visions also manifest in physical evidence that gets used against Jonathan? And just why?
Are we
overall
to interpret that Art was at the school in person, or is that just a vision? Because I kind of thought he was there for real, and that the fact that Jonathan can see the little girl at all is supposed to mean something. But if he's there for real, how come he didn't kill a bunch of people? I have a lot of questions.
Shouldn't he have massacred the school or something?
I don't know what to do with my hands. I literally have nothing to say because there's no sense whatsoever. There's no tether that I can even put interpretation around to get an answer to any of the great questions Marilee is asking. There just is no answer. This is nothing.
I think Art is meant to be perhaps a demon or gifted with some black magic of some kind because of a deal with Satan and this pale little girl. So maybe he could teleport.
There you go. There you go.
That is a thing that people brought up, especially in relation to the third movie, which seems to continue on a supernatural path. But the idea is the pale little girl is a demon. Art was a regular person and a real serial killer. He died for real and then has been brought back by the demon. And that's what's going on now. So if he has powers other than healing himself, teleportation, I guess, makes sense. But either way, I would love to get more evidence of that.
Yeah, zippy zappy. Just show me something. Just
something. Give it anything. Jesus.
Anything. Well, Jonathan had.
Yeah, thank you.
I will. I must continue. Jonathan has been taken home by the police, and Sienna is at a costume store with her friend to replace the wings that burnt down in her room. Her friend bumps into Art on her way to make a phone call outside, and Sienna also meets him as he blocks the door to the stairs, forcing Sienna to shimmy by. She goes to pay for her new wings, but just as she realizes she left her bag downstairs, Art drops it on the counter. Sienna pays and leaves, and Art goes to follow her, but first he locks the store and comes back to the clerk to make a purchase and murder him.
Dun dun dun.
Here's what I will say. The bag dropping on the counter was a genuine scare for me. It did get me an actual jump scare.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this sequence of Sienna and Art is the best sequence of the film. I think him trying on the glasses is stupid, and it is clown horror. And I think him honking the horn at her when she's like, please stop, is great. And the two of them together is a lot of fun. And that's it. It is literally all downhill from here.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah. I don't even have anything more to add to that, David. I think you just... I think it's a funny scene. I think it's, like, ruined a bit because the clerk doesn't act like a normal human.
Yeah.
At all. Even for, like, a horror movie, and even, like, a B horror movie, like, this is on another level.
Yeah.
Like, it's 2025. We just do not buy this kind of behavior, even, like, remotely. And so it's stupid.
Yeah, like, Sienna and the actor who are, like, giving a masterclass in, I am scared, I am panicked, I am terrified, I do not want to be left alone with this man. Clerk is like, yeah, it'll just be a second, and, like, fucking dips. What guy isn't, like, calling the cops or, like, not leaving this teenage girl alone with this creepy man in his empty store on Halloween, which is absurd to begin with, coward behavior.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought up the story, Marilee. What the fuck? It is Halloween. That's what we've learned. Or, yeah, because she fell asleep. The fire was the day before Halloween. And your costume store is empty. You did not put extras in. You did not create a line of dialogue like, oh, I'm about to close up. Could you hurry up with your wing purchase or whatever? Also, who closes a Halloween store any time before the end of the night if you want to make money? Just lazy, cowardly filmmaking to use this as a set piece. Stupid. Just not complimentary stupid, which I feel like we do a lot in the podcast. This is bad stupid.
Yeah.
You are straight stupid. The bad one.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will just say that while you both were talking, I was having a flashback to us talking about Helen Shiver's sister, and I think that people shouldn't work at stores in horror movies. Like, that, it's just a bad time.
Very true.
It's just a bad time. What was her name? I don't even remember her name.
Elsa.
Helen Shivers.
Her name was Elsa.
Elsa Shivers couldn't walk fast enough.
No, she couldn't.
Oh, lordy.
Do you want to talk about the clerk's murder? Because it is cited as a reason that the film is not misogynistic. Because here we were, in the first film, every male died from a little tap on the head. And I am literally not joking. It was like barely blunt force trauma, whereas the women were like sawn in half from their vagina down to their head. And so people were like, this film is misogynistic because you're not actually treating characters differently. And here, the clerk is murdered violently.
Okay, but he's a black man who's murdered violently, and the two white men that we see that are not from the first movie are killed with a stab to the head and a stab to the dick, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't
agree.
think that this is an argument that you think it is.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think that this is a sign of less misogyny, but I think this is the way in which Leone was reading feedback and trying to incorporate it into his film.
Again, I do think the clerk is if anything an example of more misogyny, because the casual misogyny of this man leaving a teenage girl alone, that's misogyny behavior, I think.
So then it's like, I'll pretend I'm Leone. Okay, I wrote this clerk, and he is leaving my super hot teenage protagonist Sienna alone. And now, okay, so audiences are not going to like that because they're going to be like, whoa, he left like the teenage girl alone. So I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to make it hurt, and I'm going to make it last a while, and I'm going to use some really cool special effects to do it. Sick. Hand me another monster, bro.
This is an excellent accent for a man from Staten Island, New Jersey.
Fuck yeah.
It's incredible. It was like Pete Davidson was in the room with us, truly, Tyler.
You're a vision of what just happened. I'm so impressed. You're perfect.
Thank you. It involved more creativity than Leone had when he came up with this movie.
You're right, and you should say it.
I do think I will say a nice thing. I think the effect of the head as it is being sawed off does look cool.
Yes.
I can tell it's mostly practical effects, which is very nice. It reminded me a little bit of like a John Carpenter Thing situation where we're watching like a living person being mutilated. And I think on an effects level, that's neat. I just think I'm not calling Leone a racist. But I think that this presentation can be connoted as having racial overtones or racist overtones.
With the number of people of color in the cast and the thing that happens to this clerk, I think it's hard not to interpret a little bit of racism. Now, whether that's systemic racism that is manifesting in the fact that there aren't more cast who are of color, or it is Leone's individual racism that he is struggling with, or ¿por qué no los dos? And so here we are.
Yeah.
So back at home, Jonathan tells Sienna about Art being at school and shows her their father's sketchbook, where he has taken clippings of a girl who looks like the pale little girl, and even drew a picture of Art and his victims from the first film. Finally, Jonathan shows a drawing of Sienna in her costume, holding the severed head of a demon. Meanwhile, at Sienna's friend Allie's house, trick-or-treaters come and go before Art arrives. She says no candy for grown-ups and locks the door. Sienna finishes and adorns her costume, ready for the party tonight. And in her bedroom, Allie is getting ready for the party as well, when a noise from downstairs leads her to investigate. One of the glass doors has been broken, and Art is in her kitchen. She escapes into her bedroom, but it's too late. Art attacks and kills her.
So this is the maybe infamous bedroom scene, and when people point to the things that are shocking or horrifying, or people vomited and fainted in the theater, this is the sequence that gets brought up around those conversations.
Yeah, I don't want to break down into detail everything that happens. I think it's better to keep it vague. But I think that the murder itself sucks. It goes on way too long. I think some of the effects that are used are neat. I think it doesn't totally make sense that Allie is alive through all of it.
It does not.
It's just kind of there to prolong the suffering and pain, which makes me super uncomfortable. I think the only good part of it is just the salt on the wound, which I talked about earlier. I think that's a little bit of self-awareness, the only bit of self-awareness in this movie. And I think it's kind of fun also because that's a little bit of Art being a clown. Like, it's kind of funny, and Art is doing it, which makes it more funny because he's a clown. But I think that for it to work, and perhaps if we were to make the movie better, we would need more moments of Art doing stuff like this, or perhaps even like breaking and bending reality. We talked about this with It last week, that Pennywise is a clown, which makes him like the trickster archetype in literature. Right. And therefore he can do things that other characters can't. And Art certainly does do that. Like, he comes back to life, he's able to kill people like in the most impossible ways. And it's really gruesome and terrible, but none of it is funny in the same way that Pennywise, played by Tim Curry, was funny. Like, he has funny and scary moments, and they become scarier because they were funny. We don't really get that. The only time that actually happens is in the Halloween store, and Art is trying on the sunglasses and then gets creepier as it goes. That's it, though, mama. Everything else is just like, what you see is what you get.
Right. And I'll even say that the best sequence in this bedroom scene is there are slashing noises, but we just get rapid cuts around the room, and sometimes they're accompanied with blood spatter, but not always. And that is actually very good technique, because whatever I'm imagining is way better than what you can show me, and it is a moment of smart editing and direction that is then ruined by the worst editing around the rest of the fight. The character's not in the same space. Not that continuity like matters so much as a killer clown, but the character's not in the same spaces. There is times when Art is straddling Allie in different ways that are not represented, and so there's like a in some of the coverage that then gets edited together poorly, there's sort of a rape allegory that's going on, and if that's intentional, then you should have just used that coverage, but then you've cut to the other one and it confuses the viewer on what's actually fucking going on. And I feel like I say this all the time on this podcast, I can't be scared if I'm confused, and I wasn't even confused, I was just simply bored in this whole sequence.
Yeah. This is around the time where the service that I was watching it on had ads, and this is where I started getting ads for a Scientology book. It was like an L. Ron Hubbard book, But they never said the word Scientology. So for the rest of the movie, and especially this scene sequence, I was thinking about, do they think that's gonna work? Do they think they're gonna get people through their new tactic of not saying the word Scientology, but advertising this book as this, like, this hot new, like, thing about the reactive mind? Is that working for them? That's how much I was bored by this movie, because I was thinking about fucking Scientology instead.
But I'm obsessed with that. I hope that's targeted marketing. I hope that the Church of Scientology sat down and they were like, who do we need Terrifier fans? How do we get them? Pitch a book, don't mention the church, just try to get them interested in purchasing.
No, and again, it is an L. Ron Hubbard book, so this is a book that's been around for a long time. That man is dead. So, like, they're trying this hot new advertising technique. Is this working? Are we stupid? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
We are stupid. Anyway, back at Sienna's home, Sienna comes down in her incredible costume, and it is a really well-constructed garment. I have a lot of other things to say about it, though. And then she's off to her Halloween party. Jonathan sits in his sister's room, sulking and looking at the short sword. His mother, Barbara, tries to help, but seeing him obsessed over his dead father's sketchbook leads to a confrontation, and Jonathan runs away. Back at Allie's home, her mother comes home and sees the break-in, goes to check on her daughter, and finds Art carving her on the bed, even though she is still alive. A lot to talk about in this set of scenes.
Let's talk about the costume, because I will say that I felt like the costume reveal was very cool.
Yeah.
And I know, here's what I know about Sienna. She loves making this costume, because we have spent a lot of film showing me her working on this costume, which I sort of kept forgetting that it was Halloween. And so I did read this as cosplay the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That it gets used in a Halloween costume later. I was like, oh, this is a Halloween costume. Not that there's anything wrong with a Halloween costume, but I truly was like, oh, she's cosplay.
Right, yeah.
And it's just a level of artistic detail that she as a character was spending to put this together told me, the viewer, that this was important for her. And I thought it was cool to finally see her in it.
Yeah, and no, you're 100% right. Like, if this was a real teenage girl who put real effort into this, like, I would still have some things to say about the costume, particularly put on some pants before you leave the house. But, like, the difference is that this isn't a real teenage girl. This is a teenage girl who has been written by an adult man, and this is where you get a lot of other problems. Because personally, I think putting arguments in the mouth of your straw man, Barbara, who we are not supposed to like, talking about how the outfit is too revealing, isn't the move that you think it is. Because I see straight through that, and, like, having the character argue for her own, I'm gonna say a word here, and, like, I need you to know that I'm talking about the minor character here, and not the actor, who I think was, like, over 18 when she filmed this. Or, like, but, like, her own exploitation, I think, sucks. It's a really questionable choice, especially when you have this girl spending the rest of the movie in an outfit she literally cannot sit down in, because I know exactly what kind of skirt that is, and it is so short, and the way that it is constructed, you cannot sit in that garment without it riding up and seeing her underwear. And you do see Sienna's underwear throughout the rest of the movie. Anytime she, like, is bending over, you can see her black panties, and that fucking sucks, because this is a 16-year-old character, and having that sequence where she argues about, this is my costume, I made it, you saw me make it, and how it's for, like, her own empowerment, you cannot have that scene right after you show her in the shower showing side boob only for audience titillation. That sucks. This whole thing sucks. She should have been wearing fucking pants, and I hate all of this. I think it is an incredible looking costume. She looks so good in it. I am furious about the whole thing.
I did not see, never saw the panties, Marilee, but I will totally believe that you did. And I am not watching this movie a fourth time to try to catch that.
No, like when she, like, specifically, like, at the end of the film, like, she's bending over a lot, and like, you can see, like, they're not, like, titillating, but, like, they are black brief underwear, and it sucks. It sucks that, like, this character is explicitly 16, and she is an underage kid, and if you wrote this movie, you can make her 18. You could do that. Like, it will also still suck, but, like, she will be a person with like legal agency. You did not choose to do this. You wanted her to be a minor. You get to get me mad at you making a minor show underwear in this film.
Mhm.
And like side
boob. Yeah, like that is seen. We didn't need to see her in the shower showing side boob. That was for audience titillation, and that fucking sucks.
Yep. Merely that I'm so glad that you were able to say all that. I'm in complete agreement with you. It's really reprehensible, and I hate saying that about like a film, because at the end of the day, art it is still art that is being made. It's not good, but it's still art. And so I feel gross saying like, oh yes, we shouldn't show nudity, especially because we're dealing with like a 90s teen drama sort of casting here. Like these are clearly adult actors who are playing teenagers. And considering the content of this film, I am totally fine with that.
Oh yeah,
but I think
I do not want a minor here, and I
just think
that it's especially when you have accusations of misogyny, I think it is important to remember all of these things in context, because this is not a real teenage girl. This is a character that was created by an adult man to be a teenage girl, and you have to consider that in context. I think that she looks great, and I love that she loves this costume. I don't think there was any reason for this character not to have been written to create a skirt that is functional as a skirt, or functional as a real actual skirt. If you wanted it to be that short, you could put in like skin-colored leggings or something. You could do other things so you can have a functional costume. This is not a functional costume. That is a minor. That's fucked up. Sorry to have like totally derailed on this. I got as I was talking.
Yeah, I do think the film is attempting to tell you that this is about empowerment. And I think that not only the mother character sort of representing the other side of the argument, yes, we're supposed to disagree with her because that's what Barbara's earned for us, but later at the party, someone will want to take a picture with Sienna specifically because they like the artistry of her outfit, and it is devoid of male. It is like out of its way not to be male gazy. And I thought that was textually evident, but it doesn't sort of take away all the things that you're saying.
Yeah.
In fact, it only says like you knew what was going on, and you added this scene with somebody taking a selfie, which by the way, I was like, cut this fucking shit out, because like you got to start making some cuts. It's 2:20, baby. Yeah. Like this is way too long. Yeah, I mean, I buy all the things that you're saying. I didn't get that she was 16, and I don't know what I was ever assuming about characters' ages. I knew how old Lavera was. That's all I knew.
Yeah. No, like, they say that she's 16 a few times. Like, even in the conversation with the mom, she is pointing out that her daughter is a minor. You are 16 years old. And again, it's like, you can't put arguments in the mouth of your straw horse that you want people to disagree with, and me not agree with her when she's being fucking right.
Yeah, and just to both of you, I also don't remember the shower scene, and I swear to you I watched this movie for this conversation, and I just, either I blocked it, or it was a moment that I was like, great, nothing's happening, no notes.
I think you definitely blocked it, because it's just there just for titillation.
Yeah, it is simply there as part of her, like, she has a whole montage of getting ready for Halloween, and like, you can tell that she loves this costume. Like, like the Sienna character is so well portrayed, and like the whole sequence is about how much she's like excited to be getting ready, and so like it's done through all of it. And then there's this, like, you can see her like putting on her stuff, and then but there's part of this sequence where her back is to the camera, she is taking a shower, and you just see full side boob. Like, there's no point to this. If you wanted to have her taking a shower to get ready for Halloween as part of your montage, that could have been accomplished in any other way. He chose to have a minor show side boob, and that sucks.
And so I didn't remember that. I do remember the sequence, and probably why I don't remember the shower is that the shower has nothing to do with the sequence.
No.
And so it's just bad filmmaking in addition to all the other things you're bringing up.
Yeah.
Like, the shower does not actually communicate that you are getting ready to put the outfit on. And so I was probably only paying attention to her doing her makeup, actual pictures of adorning the costume.
Yeah, and like, she takes the time to like hammer in and make these cool little like feather hair charms to put in the side braids that she's doing. She does all of this stuff, and like you can tell how much she passionately loves it. And I think that parts of that sequence really work, except when she comes down the stairs and you can see the way that this outfit looks on her body, and you can, at least to me, because I have worn enough skirts, I can see that's a non-functional skirt. Mm-hmm. And throughout the rest of the film, you don't see Sienna's whole body a lot, because presumably the actor is not wearing the bottom piece of this costume because she's has to like sit down between takes, and you literally cannot sit in that skirt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, she's got it on, so it's time for her to go to the Halloween party. And there, Brooke introduces Sienna to her boyfriend, Jeff. She has quite a few drinks, but starts to display a euphoria that doesn't seem like an alcohol buzz. And this is where Brooke reveals that she spiked the drink with MDMA. Back at Sienna's home, Barbara finds the car covered in shaving cream, toilet paper, and a smashed pumpkin, and she blames Jonathan. When she goes to clean it off, Art is inside and shoots her. I don't know, y'all. This MDMA thing. The drinking and the MDMA is so poorly designed in this script.
Yeah.
That like it's taking me out in the way that the skirt is taking Marilee out. In that I've never worn a skirt, but I was a drug and alcohol counselor for many years. And like it's not realistic. It doesn't contribute to the plot. There are no consequences. This script is so poor for this sequence.
It really is. Like, first of all, just pick one. Like,
yeah.
Barbara is going to be mad. Like, when Sienna, like, calls Barbara's mad because she assumes that Sienna's drunk. Not that she's high on fucking Molly. So why is she high on fucking Molly? Right. Like, so much of this movie, we haven't talked about it because it's barely a thing. But, like, there's some times where Sienna sees, like, the pale, like, little girl, like during this party scene, and she kind of has a freak out. And I think it's meant to make the audience think, like, oh, is she, like, kind of crazy? Because we also get, like, a little allusion to that earlier with Allie saying something to that effect. And
like, she takes Xanax, like, she sees a vision and then, like, immediately, like, pops a Xanax before she does her, like, getting ready outfit thing. So, like, she's
and Xanax is definitely meant to stop hallucinations. So
definitely,
yeah, we covered that in school, Tyler. Like, oh, hallucinate, take a Xanax, no problem.
Yeah, if you're having a panic attack because of hallucinations, you don't worry about it. Xanax fixes everything.
Mm-hmm. So it's just stupid. It just seems like an excuse for us not to like Sienna's friend Brooke.
Yeah.
Which it did the opposite. I even liked Brooke even more. Like, because I think she was the only character that was kind of, like, beyond just Sienna, a character.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that's purely due to the actress.
Yeah.
It is not because of the script.
Like, the script wants you to hate Brooke, and, like, 100% drugging your friends without their consent is not okay, but, like, you could tell that the actor, like, was really putting sincerity in the I just wanted you to have a good time kind of read of it. Like, that goes away later, because you really, the script wants you to hate her. And that is supposed to make her death later more karmic payoff. But that sucks. This whole thing sucks.
It's terrible.
I do think that, writing bitch on the, like, toilet paper cream, that, like, Art has done is just another thing of Art is a misogynist. So, jot that down, I guess.
Yes. Again, if you're going to have your character leave that, then make your character be a misogynist. Just do it. There are characters who are misogynists all the time. They're out there.
Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, David, do you have anything more that you wanted to talk about that misogyny? Because, like.
No, I guess the only other thing about the barber kill is that I think you're supposed to be scared by the reveal of Art in the car. And it is so poorly telegraphed that, like, it cannot scare even me, who is scared of so many things. It just was not frightening. And because I had watched the first film, Art suddenly switching up and using a gun. Oh, a slasher with a gun. We already did that in the first film, and with a much better impact. And so, like, this just sucks. Barbara deserved better in so many ways.
In all the ways.
I do think that the last conversation that she and Sienna have is good. Like, I do think that later, after all of this goes down, Sienna can, like, think about how her last thing that she said to her mom was that she loved her. I guess that's a nice thing that happened. But
Meanwhile, though, Barbara's last words are something like mean about her son,
Yeah.
who like is clearly going through something, and Barbara does not act like a real mother.
No.
Well, many mothers, unfortunately, are like that. But the Barbara that we see, it doesn't make sense for
it doesn't make sense for Barbara.
the character to
Agreed.
behave this way.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know who the brother Jonathan reminded me of? The son from the Babadook, where he's clearly, there is something neurodivergent happening to him in a way that makes him difficult to understand social cues and obsessed with the thing that nobody wants him to be obsessed about, that is making his life and the lives of people around him difficult. So I do think that was a parallel that was another unintentional thing, but it reminded me of a better movie that I could have been watching instead of fucking Terrifier 2.
Truly.
Well, Sienna ends up having a vision of a pale little girl at the club and has a panic attack. Jonathan returns home, seeing the corpse of his mother seated at the dinner table. Art, in a matronly apron, brings out dinner and serves it to the corpse before chasing Jonathan upstairs and injecting him with a needle. Art takes the short sword. Jeff agrees to drive Sienna home when her phone rings and Jonathan's voice tells her that he is stuck at the abandoned carnival. But we see that it's actually the pale little girl using Jonathan's voice.
What is even happening? Not spooky, stupid. Like, what is even happening here? This is where I truly was like, we have lost the... What semblance of land that was beneath us that is the plot of this film is gonzo. Why is Art taking the sword? Why spare the little boy? Just why? It's nothing. It is so... I hate it. Every moment from here on forward is the end of anything good being in this movie.
Yeah, listeners at home, the note that David wrote here for this scene is just the rails. We are off them.
Yeah, and I will look back wistfully for this scene in a few scenes from now. I will be like, wow, remember how grounded that scene was? Based on where we will end up getting.
Yeah, oh, God. So I think during that scene when Jonathan comes home and he sees Art serving food to Barbara's corpse, I think that was a huge missed opportunity to have some dark humor where it could have been Art like spoon feeding Barbara's corpse mashed potatoes. And that would have been fun because like Jonathan does a good job of looking scared, which is his main job from now on. And I think it's like, it would be funny and fucked up, and I think it would fit the tone well, and I think it even would have made me be like, okay, this is like the salt pouring. But instead, Art just takes a big glob of mashed potatoes and shoves it into an orifice on Barb's now shattered face, and then chases after Jonathan, and it's just like, stupid again.
Yeah, and to wear the apron, like, again, we have a chance. We could do a mother thing. You could explore there being complications with the mother of it all. It's right there, but we're not doing it. And,
yeah, this is the second mom he kills in a row.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's true. If I might like rewind a little bit, there's a scene earlier where after Allie's mom finds Allie, and we then see Art serving candy to some trick-or-treaters out of Allie's head, which has now been carved hollow and just full of candy. And I thought that was stupid when it could have worked, because we also had that scene and that exact same gag earlier in the fucking movie when Art takes the Halloween store clerk's head and is pretending to be a Halloween decoration and tricks a kid.
Yep.
So it's just like, so not only is this dumb and bad taste, it also is a repetition of an earlier gag.
Exactly. Not even creative enough to like do a second thing.
Yeah. So lazy. But yes, now we are here with Barbara. She's dead. She's the second mother in a row that has been killed. The captions on Tubi spoiled that it was the pale little girl talking as Jonathan to Sienna. The captions also spoil that it was a demon.
Incredible.
As opposed to some figment of the imagination talking on the phone. So bye-bye rails, but were we ever truly on them?
Truly. It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
God, I wish we had rails. Would be nice. Would be very nice. So at the abandoned carnival, which kind of gets mentioned that this is the place where Art killed the first time, sort of, whatever. Let's put some lore here, I guess. that's what you've all been craving for, right? Like Art the
Right.
Clown lore. That's what we wanted here.
I need
Give me
it.
that
I need lore.
Sweet, delicious lore.
So at this abandoned carnival, Sienna goes off to find Jonathan, leaving Jeff and Brooke in the car. Sienna's investigation leads her to a carnival attraction, which is probably the haunted house called the Terrifier. Oh, name drop!
Name drop, yay. Oh, he said it! Oh!
Ding! Whatever. Anyway, Brooke delivers a ton of third act exposition about a girl who was murdered at that carnival, and Sienna's father's brain tumor, and suicide, and death, where he drived into a pylon, I think, and just about the abuse apparently that he had towards Sienna. All of this just goes so fast for no reason. Jeff goes to pee and gets stabbed repeatedly in the groin by Art because we needed another murder, I suppose. Art then drags Brooke through the car, but Brooke gets a good kick in and runs off, making her way into the Terrifier attraction and finally being cornered by Art in a blood-stained bathroom. He tosses a vial of acid on her face before beating her to death.
Okay, let's start with the Terrifier set piece, because it is one of the biggest problems I had with the first film, of which there is a list. But the idea of a giant set piece that is seemingly unending, that you can go room to room to room in to continue to showcase really just darkness and shadows and some smoke, it's terrible. It's just terrible set design. Even this blood-stained bathroom that we end up in with poor Brooke, it sucks. It just sucks. It is so lazy, so boring. I never know where the light is coming from. It doesn't make sense. It's not purposeful. It's not symbolic. It just absolutely blows. And it is the worst set piece of the film.
If I may, David,
please.
There is some symbolism.
Tell me.
In the bathroom. Just behind one of the characters, I think maybe it's Sienna or Art, you can see some, it looks to be used FTL white briefs and a tampon that are just hanging up as part of the horror of it all. So probably bloodstained. Actually, the tampon was definitely bloodstained, but it's just oh. So, and they're just kind of hanging in a way that makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. And it's oh, okay. So it is the misogyny. Got it. I got it. Yeah.
Just the misogyny. Oh, yes, a tampon. The scariest thing in the world.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, but yeah, I love how this purportedly abandoned carnival has a fully working haunted house with the biggest warehouse in an abandoned carnival in the world. I also like that because I assume a large chunk of the budget went to these incredibly ornate Halloween decorations that, there's 3 of them, so we had to see them 3 times to make it worth it. I fucking hate this movie.
God.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, speaking of the misogyny of it all, it seems genuinely pathological, the way that, Leone has destroyed people, and particularly women's faces, over and over and over again. Pretty much every kill of a woman seems to have destroyed or hurt the face, but particularly the ways that he's used acid on an acid attack here, and the way that he's cut up lots of other women's faces, and what happens with Victoria. I don't know what's happening here, but I simply do not like it.
Yeah. Here's something you're also going to hate. Jeff's murder is also cited as, see, it's not misogyny. He stabbed a guy in the dick. Would a misogynist do that? Which, first of all, yes. But Leone's interviews are really what set me off, because he said, oh, I had places I wanted to take the dick thing to, but we felt like it was too far. And let me tell you what he had planned, because it might actually make you like it a little bit, because it's like John Waters' Camp. He was going to have him take the penis off, blow it up like a balloon, and make a balloon animal out of it, which would have been kind of funny.
Yeah.
But to think that that's too far, but cutting off a woman's breasts is not too far, tells me who you are.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. I remember when there's oh, we're not even going to see his dick. And then we don't. And I was called it. And he just gets stabbed. It's just, I would have loved seeing Art blow up this guy's dick into a balloon animal. That would have been hilarious. Also,
hilarious.
I guess, but we can't have that because Art blowing on another man's dick is that's too gay.
That's too
so-
far, Merrily. That's too far.
That's too
Yeah.
far.
It would have been Art, who's a man, touching another man's penis, which
With
would have
his
been
mouth? Can't have
with his
that.
mouth. No, mustn't have that. Oh no. I think it also would have been just as funny if Art had just done like a clean slice of like just the tip or something, because
Just
the
the tip.
boyfriend is wearing a shirt that says just the tip.
Right.
And Art
And it-
writes just the tip on the fucking window. So if he cut off the tip of the dick and threw it at Brooke, that would be funny.
Yeah, or cut off the whole dick and just wave it around.
Wave it around.
Yeah, it's a
Dick-
fucking toy. Like
Unerect penises are floppy. Floppy things are funny.
Yeah.
Like, he's a clown.
But no, we just got to make mincemeat out of his penis.
Yeah.
It's so...
And we have
Stupid.
multiple times said that Jeff dies. We actually don't know that Jeff dies.
Yeah, he
Um,
could
and I-
survive with a stabbed penis.
But as far as the director's concerned, if you get stabbed in the penis, you are dead. So there's no like Jeff
Yeah,
final
men's
moment.
hearts are in their dick, apparently. And everybody
Exactly.
knows that.
Exactly.
true.
And that is why Jeff not showing up again, I think, is more reinforcement of the misogyny that is present here. Because if you lose your dick, you may as well be dead, is what Leone has told us with this film. And that's toxic and terrible as well.
So it could also be transphobic on
Yeah.
top
It
of
is
everything
transphobic.
else.
Yes. I don't think he's above transphobia based on the way in which he reacted to his actors being, like against TERFs, but like whatever.
I'm
Oh.
so fucking tired of this goddamn fucking movie.
It's
Well, then-
okay, we're almost to the end.
We're almost to the end, which means we have to descend into hell merrily. Sienna finds Brooke's corpse and Art, and Jonathan finds them. Why? Because the actors all need to be in the same space. Sienna gets a good hit on Art, allowing Jonathan to escape, but Art knocks Sienna unconscious to go after Jonathan, capturing and slashing at him with a scalpel. Sienna sneaks up behind Art and hits him repeatedly, and Jonathan shoots him with the sawed-off shotgun. Sienna has a vision of her mother, but it's actually the pale little girl who psychically confers the image of Barbara's death into Sienna's mind. Okay. Despite it all, Art remains alive and pushes Sienna through a rotted floor and into a cave. And the cave also has a literal gateway to hell. Art stabs Sienna with a short sword that he stole from her, and she falls into hell. And hell is also the clown cafe?
Sure, why not?
It was in this moment that I realized, oh, this is just Jesus and Satan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And not to, I know you're very eager to watch Terrifier 3, Tyler. So I hate to spoil this to you, but she literally puts on a crown of thorns in the third film.
Wow.
God.
Just in case you didn't get the symbolism here.
Right,
Because
right.
there
I
it
mean,
is.
she's wearing the angel wings, and she's like descending into hell, and
Right,
she
right.
dies. Hmm. Yeah, I fucking hate this movie. I keep on going to the like nonsense gibberish because of rage over this fucking movie. Like, we must have Sienna's Jesus, and she's like this really pretty white angelic pure girl who will save us from the demons of society, which is represented by Art. Because he's just like, oh, he's coming to get you. He's gonna kill all of your women. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure that's not at all like misogynistic or fascist or sus in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, it was at this point in time that I opened the notes and saw that Tyler was working. And I'm like a spy. I'm not like spying on Tyler, but I watched him have a mental breakdown in the notes at this point of remembering the film. And I felt so bad personally for what was happening.
I had actually been doing like pretty okay until we got to the part that you talked about in the previous scene with his like, oh, we can't have the dick. We mustn't touch the penis. Mustn't have it touch his mouth. That's when I got really pissed, and then I'm just like, I'm gonna have a fucking meltdown, bitch.
Yep,
I'm fucking over this shit. I can't wait to talk about it, rip it apart, and then never fucking think about this movie ever fucking again.
It happened live at the Google Doc.
Live as we spoke in the Google Doc.
God.
Oh,
I wish that
bless.
I was on Google Doc and I could have seen that, but I decided to sleep in this morning.
It was a good choice. It was a better choice, Meryl.
It was a much better choice.
No, I wanted this. I deserved that. I had my own fucking mental breakdown when I was doing these notes. Anyway, my contribution to the section of notes is just a photo of Jean Mullini that says, you know, those days where you're like, this might as well happen? That's
Might as
all
well
that
happen.
I've got here.
Yeah.
Whatever.
This may as well happen. Why not?
Hey, I like the scenery, the blocking, I guess, looks nice as like a Jesus story sort of way too,
Oh,
where it's like the
yes.
pit to hell, and then there's the angelic light that's leading up the stairs to get back up to continue the fight.
Yeah, and I like that she gets stabbed in the gut like Longinus would get stabbed in the gut. Longinus?
Jesus?
Jesus got stabbed.
Like, if we're
Who
gonna
was the
stab
stabber?
her for the Jesus, it needs to be in the side.
It's the side,
in the
isn't
side,
it? Yeah,
not in
it
the
was the
middle.
side.
Come on.
I have a theory for that.
Okay.
And we're going to get to it in the next scene.
Okay,
Okay,
then let's do
great.
it. Let's do
All
it.
right.
I don't need to know who the Roman soldier was, but I think it was Longinus.
Gain. Not just this, but it's also the last scene that we're talking about in this movie.
Oh,
Yay!
thank God. Thank God.
All right, so through the gate of hell, Sienna is drowning in a glass box while bloodied and burning characters in the clown cafe scene and dance. Sienna seemingly dies, but hears Jonathan calling to her, and the mystical power of the short sword resonates with the wound, within the wound that was just described by my lovely co-hosts, and it awakens her. Sienna erupts from the gate of hell, grabs the short sword, and beheads Art. She and Jonathan see the pale little girl pick up the head of Art, her eyes turning demonic, before she leaves with it. And at last, the nightmare is over and credits roll. Yes, the movie just kind of ends like that. Or does it?
Oh, Jesus. No, not a mid-credit scene.
In a mid-credit scene, Victoria, who has been institutionalized after a violent outburst, gives birth to Art's head somehow? And as they're discovered by an orderly, Art's head smiles and Victoria's eyes glow like the pale little girl's. The end of Terrifier 2.
Wow. I need the audience to know. Here, listen, you know what? I deserve this. I need the audience to know that I did not include this mid-credit scene. Yes, I watched it. I did not include it in the notes because I was like, listen, as soon as it says credits, this is fucking done and we are done. And somebody added the mid-credit scene to the show description.
I did add the mid-credits scene because I think that as part of our misogyny conversation, it's vital because the way that Victoria, with her own birth blood, I guess, has written horror and a whole bunch of really nasty misogynic shit all over the wall surrounding a Vicky plus Art heart in the center before she gives birth to this demon head and is possessed by the demon, and also like she gave birth so hard her entrails are coming out, I guess. It all sucks so bad, and if I had to watch it, you guys have to talk about it.
I can't believe you even watched it. I can't believe you didn't see credits and just closed the movie.
That is certainly what I did. I saw, oh, they're starting. End.
Well then let's talk about Sienna's resurrection.
I'm going to go ahead and proclaim that this is a resurrection because not only did Sienna like suffer because of Art, she was then killed because of Art. She was resurrected, so she came back from the dead. The glowing happens within that wound, which is in the general area where the uterus would be. So she is both Mary and Jesus. Because as a woman, she can't just be Jesus. She also has to be Mary.
Wow.
So,
she died for our sins. She also gave birth to the savior of our sins. She's everything.
She is everything, mama. And she comes back from hell, just like Jesus did, and then kills.
Went to hell. Be so fucking for real.
Yeah, no. Jesus goes to hell. Harrows the people who sinned before his coming and resurrection. Got them all out of there, which is why hell is supposed to be empty now.
Oh my God!
Until Judgment Day.
That's why all those people were in the clown cafe. That's the souls from hell that Jesus saved. You finally found the symbolism, Tyler.
I did. And it's the worst
mad.
kind. It's the worst fucking kind because it's Christian bullshit. It's so fucking stupid.
So
and then she cuts off Art's head, and Art also kind of smiles and gives his consent for her to kill him, as though it's like, you got me. But it's also like she is now also Saint Michael killing the serpent, because she's got the big wings and the armor on, which is all Saint Michael the Archangel kind of vibe. She is like not only Christian mama, she is also like Catholic Christian. So this whole thing is like, I think, and I'm going to get into it in our conclusion, I think this whole thing is a representation of the Christo-fascist bullshit that has been taking over this fucking country and infecting our pop culture to the point that now it is present in our horror movies and
Yes.
draws millions upon millions of fucking dollars.
Even the bad horror movies have to be about Christianity.
Even the bad fucking horror movies.
I'm having a fucking meltdown. I can't get over the wound.
Oh,
of
and
it
then
all. God
Victoria is like our
bless.
evil Virgin Mary because she brings back Art, who is like our Antichrist.
Yep.
Yeah, and because she's she's the evil virgin. That's why she's got whore and slut and all of that nasty, brutal misogyny all over the wall. Christ alive! Why?
Yes, literally.
She literally came back, Merrily.
Yeah.
You're both so brilliant and so smart and so handsome and so wonderful and talented. I could not be asked by any of the things you were saying. Like, I just truly and honestly could not give a fuck about any of them. If I watch Terrifier 3, it will only be for the desire to hate myself. And should a 4th, 5th, and so on be made, I genuinely have no interest until Leone dies and someone says, I can make this better, and they bring a much better version of this into the world. And it's not going to include any of this bullshit nonsense. It is just going to be what these should be, which is a gore fest, and they will be good and not problematic.
Terrifier 6, Art Gone Woke.
There you go. Oh, Tyler. Oh, you said the magic word. People were concerned that this film, Terrifier 2, had gone woke because Sienna is such a girl boss.
I can't handle this.
I'm gonna have a short circuit.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Tyler's face is like blue screen of deathing right now.
Yeah. Guys, I think I must ask the question that
Please
I
do.
always ask at the end of every episode of our wonderful Fear Coded show that has discussed so many beautiful pieces of art. How do we feel about Terrifier 2 in terms of horror or queerness after our conversation? Do you have any other final thoughts for this episode?
You know, our mutual friend Gavin, who I shouted out earlier, thank you, Gavin, for giving me so much information about what it means to edit films and to be a self-editor and how that contributed to why these are so schlocky and terrible. He is often said and will continue to say that, like, it is not the role of a critic to tell you not to watch something. And for many, many years, as a drug counselor, there would be very few substances that somebody would say, I'm very interested in trying this, should I do it, that I would say no to. But this is like a 6-year-old child saying, I think I'm interested in trying methamphetamine, should I do it? And I say no. I think that you could certainly never watch this film and then go through a happy life. I do think art exists to be explored and enjoyed, and as Tyler said, this is art, but I don't ultimately know what the value of watching this is. I don't think it will help you learn things. I don't think it will help you explore your own feelings. I don't think it will give you a new perspective on the world. I think we found queerness to be part of this, and that is a testament to our analysis. I think that the actors do a fantastic job, and I love that they are queer allies. But I think otherwise this, and I think the talking about a mime clown for Auguste was important and good, and I'm glad we did it. I am not upset that we covered this film, but I don't think anyone who is like, I'm going to tackle the entire fear-coded catalog, like, go watch Strays a second time. Don't watch this.
Or like Ginger Snaps. Like,
Sure.
That movie seems like it could have won an Oscar in comparison.
Yes.
And, like, Ginger Snaps is fine. Like, it's
Yes.
okay. We liked it.
Yeah.
This we hated. Like, this was a genuinely hateful experience. So, like, I not only did I find this to be a waste of 2.5 hours, not only is it boring, but based off of how this movie ends and my own personal interpretation of it, I think it's also conservative as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extremely political movie, and the politics are conservatism and hate. And I don't like it. I think it's a genuinely, not only is it a waste of your time, effort, emotional energy, and none of which you can get back. I just think it sucks.
Yeah. There is a version of this movie out there that exists that's good. Even with, like, Sienna being Jesus and the Virgin Mary. Because there's nothing wrong with using, like, Christian allegory or mythology or anything else in movies, as long as you do a good job with it. And this did a fucking shit job with it. I think the only redeeming factor I could give to this movie is, first of all, I liked the lighting. I think the lighting in this movie is mostly pretty good. I think it's nice that we actually had nighttime scenes where I could see what was happening.
Agreed.
Because there was a lot of use of blue light, and I'm like, you know what, Mama? Other like HBO, other big movies that make these films, and you can't see what the fuck is happening at night. Take a lesson. Everything else is garbage. I think if there were one redeeming factor, if we describe this movie as being art, is that it reminds us that not all art is good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it sucks. A lot of it has terrible opinions, but at least it's fucking made by a human.
Yes.
And so for as bad as this movie is, because this is a genuinely bad movie, I think in an era where AI fascism, or AI is a tool of fascism, it's nice to be reminded that art can exist and is made by humans, even if I don't agree or find that art of much merit.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like this was crafted by human hands, and you know what? If we're gonna have to exist in a world with misogyny and hate, at least it's created by humans. There's, I guess, a value in that.
That's true. That's true.
Instead of just repeating the same slop over and over and over again, infinitum. My really only takeaway is the only thing this movie made me excited about is seeing Lauren Lavera in literally anything else.
Agreed.
Anything else. Cast
I would
women in things.
Yes, please. Like, I think that is also like a very good point about this, is that we have two fantastic actors as our two primary characters. And David Thornton Howard, come on the pod. Like, we fucking hate the movies that you're famous for, but like we like you quite a bit.
Yeah.
And same thing to Lauren Lavera. I hope they both have wonderful careers in the future with our actor playing art having a career that mirrors Doug Jones. But for everything else, fuck this movie.
Yeah, I do wonder if this wouldn't have come out in 2022 and this Terrifier 2 and specifically because this is where we get Lavera. If this would have come out a few years earlier, Lavera would have been on Yellow Jackets. Like, this is like, she is so fucking good. I need her to be in things. I mean, she's not going to be a teen much longer, so I look forward to her being in like young adult things. I even think, frankly, she's got the comedy chops. I'd be interested to see her in like a standard television sitcom. I think she's really, really, really good.
Yeah. No, and like, I genuinely think she's phenomenal. I think that the way that she acted and performed terror, I think, was one of the best that we've ever seen.
Yep.
And if you are casting horror movies right now and you are not considering her for your lead, what the fuck are you doing?
True. Put her in the next Alien.
Oh my god.
Put her in the next Alien movie. She can be both scared and a fucking badass, which is exactly what you want to have as the female protagonist in an Alien film.
Brilliant.
You're exactly
Brilliant
right.
casting.
Oh, delicious. All right, well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Genuinely, thank you for hanging out with us as we exercised our fucking demons on this. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If your father left you a sketchbook where you are a costume hero combating the literal devil, please A, keep it to yourself, and B, make sure your costume has pants.
Truly.
And you can send us cute pictures of bats on Instagram and Blue Sky at FearCodedPod.
This podcast is, of course, a proud part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you'd like to listen to more queer media podcasts, check out the full roster of Glitterjaw shows at glitterjaw.com. And join us next time where the joke is on you as we continue Auguste with our first foray into comics with Batman, the Killing Joke. But for now, we will simply say goodbye.
Bye.
Man, they were nihilists, man.
Huh?
They kept saying they believe in nothing.
Nihilists. Fuck me.